Okay, this is segment 21.6, and it's called Hands Behind My Back. And what this has to do with, we all can do more things than we do, and sometimes we hold back a little bit. And I have found many times that there were things I knew how to do that I didn't do, either because of fear, insecurity, time, I don't know, not thinking things were good enough. So I call this operating with one of your hands tied behind your back. Sometimes it feels like you have both of your hands tied behind your back. For example, what if you know how to do a bunch of things really well, but what you're doing to earn a living are not those things, but other things that you don't know how to do that well? And you could function on a much higher level doing things that are not what anybody has engaged you to do. This is a problem. This is operating with one hand tied behind your back, maybe even both. When creative people are hired by people who don't like creativity, but really want a very rigorously structured, inflexible environment, they are pretty much all operating with at least one hand tied behind their back, because people who are naturally creative are not naturally really enjoying structure that much. Yeah, they know they need enough structure to get stuff to come out. You know, they may have practiced to learn how to play, or read a manual to learn how to use an app. But by and large, people who are addicted to ideas are not addicted to repetition. Repetition seems to satisfy a different group of people. And when the people who are in charge are addicted to repetition and creative people work for them, they end up operating with a hand tied behind their back. And that perhaps is excusable because, after all, you're working for somebody else and they're paying you. But what about when you're doing stuff for yourself? Do you find yourself holding back and not using all of your tools? For whatever reason, whatever psychological reason, for some reason, I have found that I've accumulated more skills and capabilities than I've used in my life. I'm sure that's true for lots of people, not everybody. But it's worth checking with yourself, because once in a while when you untie that hand and take it out from behind your back and use that and have both hands, you go, oh, that's a whole lot better. So, for example, I'm 72 years old, and I didn't find out I could sing until I was like 66 years old. You know how much easier it is to get a gig if you're a musician, if you could sing? It's amazing. Why did it take until I was 66 to sing? Oh, because I went to a prestigious conservatory and people who knew much more about music told me that I could sing. I didn't believe it. I tried to disqualify them for several years. But after being told by people who knew better than me that I could do X, whatever it was, in this particular case singing, I go, wow, how could I have lived 66 years as a musician who plays lots of instruments and lots of gigs, thousands of gigs, and not found out that I could sing until I had some professors kind of kick me and say, hey, you could sing. How many things are there like that in our lives where we can do things that we don't think that we could do, that other people think we can do? Has this ever happened to you? Have there been people telling you, you could do such and such, you could be great at such and such, and you have, for whatever reason, disqualified them? Say, no, I can't. You're just saying that because you like me, or you're trying to manipulate me and there's some reason why you want me to do this. That's kind of crazy, but it is totally crazy. It's like being able to play the bass and not playing bass. Now, if you thought you were a piano player your whole life, but it turned out you can play bass, even bass on a piano, of course, I could play a real bass too. but there's a reason I don't. Playing a real bass takes two hands. That's like having one hand tied behind your back. I have another hand. Now, if I only played piano and the bass is not there anymore, it makes a pretty big difference when you take your hand from behind your back and bring the So how many times do you think that you're keeping one hand behind your back? It makes a big difference having both hands, don't you think? This is a metaphor for life. So think about that. Think about how many times in your life you're only using one hand instead of both, metaphorically speaking. I bet a lot. Conditions are not always supportive of you being the full you. The only one who could change those conditions is, in fact, you. If one hand's tied behind your back, you need to change things up. Episode 20.6.